Welcome, welcome. Welcome. Okay, perfect. Hello and welcome to today's Projector Energy study. We are live, we are recording. No worries if you're at the store. I'm glad you're here. If you can put your camera on later, that's always welcome, but I'm just also glad for everyone who's here live, either on YouTube or on Zoom. So happy you are here. I have some cool things prepared for us today. It's very much about, I'm going to give you 5 steps of helping you understand how you're fitting into the plan of the cosmos right now as a projector. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what is the weekly energy of what we can tap deeper into, where we have cosmic support. And also, I'm going to touch more and more over the next few weeks as well, but starting today also, because I'm getting a lot of questions from other projectors in our Facebook group, but also on Instagram, people messaging me, asking me, hey, what is really the deal with the 2027 chart shift, and how can we understand that more? What our role is in that, what's actually happening. So I started studying it more myself because I want to understand more. So I'll be bringing more and more of that to us so that we can understand our projector, our projector power in that big shift that is happening. And so let's actually start with that a little bit, because I want to just give you a couple of themes every week so that you can start integrating that understanding into your life of what actually is already way underway and you're already feeling it, especially as a projector. You're meant to lead a role in this, and that doesn't mean bossing anyone around or anything. It means leading by embodiment. So really having this understanding of what's going on there will also give you a different sense of purpose and motivation and meaning for your own inner work. So first of all, so if you want to look at this stuff more, yourself, I follow Karen Curry Parker mostly about this. And how she talks about this is, and she doesn't say this word, but I call it like the revolution of well-being and the revolution of enoughness for everyone and the revolution of integrity. All of that stuff is coming back. And obviously, as projectors, if we are wanting to lead something, it has to be through embodiment. So, embodiment, what does that mean? That means the energy of being a role model. So, look at all the 6 lines in your chart. Look at in all the left and right columns of your human design chart. Where does it have a 0.6? That is a 6 line. That is the role model. That is where you've experimented and gotten many, many lessons and failures in your life, and where you can then eventually lead as a role model. The interesting timing for my own chart is that I'll be that in my true sky chart, I'm a 4/6. And at the time of 2027, in that year, I will be turning 50. So that does sound not so far away, but either way, there's stuff happening, and 50, for those of you who know, is when as a 6 line you come off the roof. So I've always felt like there's a big calling for me in here, so that's why I'm also motivated to share more about it. But look at the 6 lines in your chart and see, where are you meant to lead from as a role model, from embodiment, where you can embrace more yourself, of all the lessons that you've learned, and make meaning out of all of this. So that's the first thing that you can look at. So I don't know if I always see the comments on YouTube, but if you're wanting to type something in the chat on YouTube, I will chat there too. And if you're here on Zoom, welcome to turn your camera on so I can see how everything's landing. I can see your beautiful faces. Otherwise, I'm just staring at myself, which is also fine. So let's jump into what I have prepared for us today for the energy of this week, of what we can dive into, what we can lean into for support, and what your bigger role is here. And I received this as a visual on Wednesday, and then I had to put it into words. So that's always my creative fun part. So the other thing about the 2027 chart shift is that it is a creative revolution. And the undefined sacral for us as projectors, but for everyone else, the sacral in general is all about creativity. And I have to my brain always pops into looking at your comments, so then I lose my own track. That's like my Gemini mind. Always looking, oh look, a chicken, right? Saw that postcard once. Where was I? This is terrible. Okay. The sacral itself is the center for creativity. And undefined just means, sorry, guys, same with Gemini. Yes. Um, I'm glad you're getting it. Not everyone can listen to me for those reasons, because I do jump back and forth a bunch, but I have trained myself also to come back. So where were we? The sacral is the center for creativity. Obviously, it's also in the womb area, which for us ladies is where we are creating life when we're having babies. So it's very much about creation, right? And undefined just means, it doesn't mean we don't have energy. It just means the energy isn't always consistently the same expression. It's more of a variable. The creativity can express itself through 1,000 different forms, whereas not thousand, it's unlimited because it's undefined. And for generator types who have their sacral defined, it's more of a defined expression of creativity, of how they bring things into the world. But we all bring things into the world through our creativity. This is just the thing that I also got reminded. The 2027 chart shift is very much more about diving back into creativity. So this is very much what I've been doing in my business over the last couple of years, specifically, especially to really see it as a creative expression. But then also you need to have the business knowledge and business wisdom if you want to make it more than a hobby, right? You can have creativity as a hobby, or you can have creativity as a profession. If you're looking, for example, John Mayer, Ariana Grande, whoever, Taylor Swift, they all have their creativity, but they've made it their profession. So it's a personal choice. For me, it's just that's how I love my business to be. And as a projector, that's basically the only way I can do it, is through my creativity, because everything else I don't have energy for. So let me look back at my notes. So understanding, letting more people in, so that I'm helping you understand what the role is and so the vision that I received on Wednesday about this and how to put it into words, and that's where we were, right? I'm just still finding my way back from my excursion that I made. So 5 points I have for you to help you understand your role in the plan more. So number 1, let me look at the chart. Let me look at the chat first. Caitlin says, interesting, my chart is 4-6 in True Sky too. Same with Gemini. Beautiful. Yeah, so it seems we have a lot of overlap there. That's interesting. Is it possible we pull from creativity too much, like a balance? Balance is always necessary, and that's why balance for your nervous system is especially um, important because creative energy is healing energy. Creative energy is light and love. And also, our nervous systems aren't always equipped yet to handle that much light and love. So it's important that there is a balance. It's important that, one of the shadow expressions of the undefined sacral is not knowing when enough is enough. So then you push too much into the zone of burnout or into the reds. You have to make sure that you bring your body with you, whether that's through, you know, supplements that help your nervous system regulate, or working out, or sleeping, or tapping, whatever it is that you do, breath work, yoga, um, going for a walk, lying in shavasana, whatever it is, you have to bring your body with. And that is why so many projectors are burned out, because they don't understand that too much can be too much, too much of a good thing can be too much. In general, though, the more creative energy you can run through your sacral, and you want to make sure that it's really creative energy in line with, what does the creator want me to do right now? What does my soul want me to do right now? And you can do that any second of the day. Does the creator want me to bring my jar to the kitchen right now because I think I should? Or does the creator want me to now like channel what's coming through and put it on paper? Like, I'm training, I have been, and that's necessary to train yourself with the little things at all times, because then when the big things come, you know what to do. Watch out for the shoulds, if you're thinking, oh, I should get this out of the way first, and then how much of that are you doing before you're procrastinating? Or, you have to, the balance, like you say, balance is always important. Um, so, 5 points. Thanks for engaging in the chat. And if any questions come up for what we're talking about, you're welcome. Let me know, and I will address it. But I also have to make sure that my very distractible brain, it's just, the positive side of this is we're so aware, we slightly ADD people. I mean, I can focus, that's also good, but I'm naturally ADD, and that's just because I'm very aware of everything that's going on, like a bird, always looking, you have to scan the environment, and then so it's easier to get off track. That's all. So focus was something I had to learn a little bit more. So let's jump into our 5 points, and understanding yourself and your own role in the cosmos a little bit more. So first of all, the theme of this week is, of this weekend specifically, the energy that you can ask for and that you can get a lot of help with, especially Friday night after sundown, all the way Saturday until sundown, is the energy of asking the creator to help you grow your desire to share. So sharing, and if you've listened to manifestation stuff before, or anywhere in other spiritual practices, it often gets talked about that giving and receiving are the same thing. They're the same channel, right? So the more you share, the more you can receive. And what I see a lot of projectors do is, when things get hard, when things get loud in their minds or hard in the external world, they stop sharing because they've made it mean something about themselves, like the external world, and they go into a cave, especially then if you're a 2-line or a 1-line and you like to be alone or introspective anyways, then you go even more into your own little cave and you stop sharing. So, but the key to blessings is that you're sharing, because when you are sharing, and I love that word so much. I've watched some of my replays. I always put a lot of emphasis on it, but it's really important that we share, right? Sharing is an unconditional thing that we're doing without agenda, whether we're helping someone, whether we're marketing our business. And that's a little trickier because we want to market from sharing without agenda, but it's hard to have no agenda in business, right? Because we still want to earn money. So sharing is important because to the amount that you can share without agenda, from love, from a pure heart, from a clean intention, the more you can also receive blessings, miracles, abundance, all of these things. Sharing is caring. Exactly. And what we can ask for is that we get help to grow our desire to share. That is the thing that we're going for. And what I see a lot of projectors do is not share because they're like, I feel like I think I have to wait for an invitation first, or they're maybe fixated on the fear that they're not going to get seen or recognized, so they don't do it. They don't want to get rejected. They don't want to get disappointed. They don't want their neighbors to see them like in their weirdness or whatever online. So they don't share because of self-inflicted limitations. So the goal is that we want to share more. And here are here are a few things that will help you understand how you fit in a little bit more. Number one, so point number one, and I will number them for you so that you can make sure that you've got them all. First of all, it's important. Number one, using your own life and challenges to create light and blessings from the pain. So your purpose, one of your purposes, and your life purpose is a combination of a lot of under purposes. So your life purpose is to overcome your challenges and overcome your pain, learn from your pain, learn the lessons, and create light. Create light within yourself. You are transforming yourself by going through your challenges, by going through your pain, by transforming, by transmuting, by alchemizing, and not by what projectors like to do a lot. And I'm saying this because I'm qualified because I've done this too. And I think every human has a tendency to, but projectors especially, we want to help and fix other people and give them advice, but we don't do our own advice. I like to say I'm a little bit better than I used to be because I've just seen that if I don't take my own advice, if I don't walk my talk, if I don't do the things, then I'm not getting recognition. I'm not getting seen. I have to be authentic. I have to embody what I'm talking about. And so I have to really dive in deep, and I do every week, multiple times. I get the opportunity to transmute triggers, pain, fears, all doubts, all the things. They come up for me all the time. I've just gotten better because I've gone to the gym a lot, the feeling gym, the transmutation gym. So this is one thing though, because yesterday I got a beautiful compliment from one of my private clients, and she's like, how do you do this? How do you stay so poised, and how do you always stay so calm and not take things personally and just ask the right questions? And I reflected on it because I just felt so seen, and it was lovely. I was like, oh, maybe a year or two ago I couldn't have, but all the inner work that I've done, same when my teenagers give me the middle finger or yell at me, that I'm the worst mom ever. A couple years ago, I couldn't have handled it the same way. Now I'm just like, I smile at it, because I know what's going on. And the key to all of this work is transformation on the inside. And how you will know that this is really happening is that you're not taking things personally anymore, or way less personal. And I still have areas in my life where I am taking things personal, and then I know that's where I have to do more transmutation work, because the more I transmute on the inside, the more I raise my base vibration. And raising my base vibration, imagine if everyone does that. If everyone takes ownership of their own feelings, of their own triggers, of their own inner work, and takes the responsibility to transform and transmute, imagine what would happen to the world immediately, just by next week. If we all did what David Guillaume says to do, like pause, what a pleasure, all the time, instead of rage texting, which I'm a pro at rage texting. And it's not even rage texting anymore, because I don't get ragey anymore, but I used to be a pro at rage texting. Now it's more like it's some kind of other texting, but it's still, I should pause more still before I do that. But either way, this is one of your most important jobs, to create light in the world, to create change in the world, to not just in your own life. And I want to invite you for a much bigger vision. It's not just about your own life. It's about what you do with your own life so that it affects everyone around you and creates this whole domino effect. It's essential, especially as a projector. If you want to get seen, if you want to get recognized, if you want to get invited, if you want to get heard, if you want to be successful, you have to do your own work. You have to do your inner work to raise light. Every time you move through a fear, every time you transform an inner knot into inner peace, you are popping a shell where light was trapped within you, and now it can shine. Now it's not that wounded toddler anymore sitting under the table trying to ruin the family dinner from underneath, but you are elevating that wounded toddler, sitting him or her next to you on a chair, and helping them grow up, helping them be part of the party instead of ruining the party. So that was point number one. Number two, realizing that your soul is perfect and that you have complete strength and spiritual agency over any situation. In any moment, at any moment in time, especially when things are hard, especially when you're in pain, when external challenges arise, remember that everything in the external world is A, quantum physics proves this, an illusion, and B, just a photon image, or whatever they call this in physics. They're all light particles. Everything, my desk, my cup of tea, my lamp, my neighbor, um, a challenging person who might yell at me or honk at me. All of this is an external image, energetic image, made into matter of what I invite into my reality through my base level vibration. And here we come back to step one. The more you do your inner work, the more you will see your external world shift. But know that in any moment in time, you can remember that your soul is perfect and that you have complete agency over the situation, especially if you don't think you do. The only one who doesn't, and the only one who believes that they don't, is your ego. So whenever you're like, I don't know how to get out of this, I have no idea what's going on, why is this always happening to me? Why am I the victim here? That's only because your ego doesn't have agency over the situation, but your soul does. In every moment, you can change whatever is going on just by changing your consciousness. And it doesn't mean that the external world shifts just that moment as well, because the external, the 3D, the hard matter is a little slower, but you can turn it around and start the shift. And you will see pretty quickly, even like not looking at a text because you don't know what it is, and then you do your inner work, and then the text is so much better than you could have ever imagined, right? those little magical miracles happen all the time. So number 3, oh, I kind of already touched on this. Realizing that everything in the physical world is an illusion and can be transformed at any time, both through your own changes and consciousness and through the changes and consciousness of the collective. So here's what shifts too. You are not just your own island. You are not just your own problem and challenge in your own life. Eventually, we have to all understand that we're connected, that we are one big beehive of humans who are creating reality together, right? And that's why, again, number 1 is so important, that you do your inner work of going through your stuff and shifting your own consciousness, raising your own vibration because of the domino effect. Because when you do that, and I was talking with another client about this, how their own healing had created so much healing for their mother as well. And that their relationship had completely transformed. And I remember that with my own mother too. My mom and I had a very complicated relationship with lots of love and lots of challenge throughout a lot of our life. But when I did my healing work, it kind of rubbed off on her, and our relationship changed and shifted. And she had more interest in doing her own inner reflections. And that is how we pick up the collective. And that is a big part of your plan as well. And a big part of your embodiment and your role in the 2027 chart shift as well, is that by you affecting things in your own life, you are affecting the collective. And we all have responsibility in that. And we all have our role in that. So, number 4, this is relating again back to what I said in the beginning of the theme of the week, that we can ask for more desire to share. So, number 4, realizing that it's your job to uplift the collective by sharing and giving and pouring more into the collective. Hello, 4 lines, especially you. Grow your desire to share. So it's kind of like a side job that we have to take on, not just if we're a 4 line, but as a human. If we want to make something bigger, if we want to make something better, if we want to help this whole system turn around, and every one of us, every one of you, you specifically, have a very important role. And the more you accept this role, the more you will also accept how worthy you are. Because when you're understanding that you have a big role in this chart shift, in this, not just chart shift, the chart shift stands for bringing the collective toward more well-being, toward where everyone gets to shine their light, where everyone gets to have enough, where we're all pulling together on one string instead of left and right against each other all the time. That's why there is so much tension in the political climate right now, because that system has to really throw a tantrum one more time for all of us to wake up even more and more. That it's not about red versus blue or black against white or this against that or small people against big people or science against spirituality. It's not against, it's with. And that is a big piece of your role, is to help people and to help the collective get there by your own embodiment of your light and overcoming your triggers and overcoming all of the things that cause you challenges and pain. And we do that by growing our desire to share. So taking on that responsibility, picking up that trash when you see it at the side of the road, especially when children are watching, being a good example, being a good friend, um, not pooping your emotions on others, whatever it is, helping when you see someone who needs help and you're like, I'd rather watch TV, but you can help and you can. Um, it's our job that we share more of our light whenever we can. And if you have a four line, do it in your communities or create communities. So, point number 5, and this I've already kind of touched on this as well, but the point number 5 is seeing the bigger picture and thinking bigger picture. How can you contribute to the greater good even if you don't get paid for it? There's something in your life where you can give. It doesn't have to be money. Maybe there's an old person in your apartment complex who could use a visit once in a while and asking if you can go to the if you can bring them anything from the supermarket. There is something that you can do to contribute to society as a donation. And you can do it from your heart. You can do it without agenda. So I would love to know, how is this landing so far in the chat? Please post something. Maybe you have an idea of like, oh, I've been feeling called to this or to that, and whatever it might be that is landing for you. Before I before I rant on, let me know in the chat what is landing for you. The chat on YouTube said it's disconnected, so sorry. um, so we'll keep it with the chat on Zoom. Okay. And while you guys are typing, I'm going to look at my notes, but what I put down here is a lot of projectors shut themselves down and retract when things are hard or not working. And I kind of touched on that already in the beginning. When things are hard, or you're feeling challenged, or you're having a lot of trouble, yes, take care of your stuff, but also use that to share. Because when you share from that place, when you're going through hard stuff yourself, and from that place you're sharing, you're helping, you're contributing, that's when you earn the real cookie points, that because in that instance, what happens is you are going through your own stuff in order to reveal more light. You're cracking the inner shells. You are dissolving karmic pain from lifetimes, and that light that you're generating, you can use to share. Why should you share? Why should you share? Because when you're sharing, you're also opening your receiving channels. So all the light that you're generating through your hard times, I don't want you to sit in your little box on your sofa in your blanket. Yes, do that too. But when you're done with that, go and share. Go and help. Go and do your thing. Don't curl up forever in your comfort spot because you need it, right? What does sharing actually mean? It means that you're giving of your light in whatever form. And I wrote down a few examples here. Touched on a couple already. You see someone who needs help and you can help, do it. You have a business and you're not marketing because you're afraid of failure or disappointment, overcome your fears and promote your services. You have an idea of how to make the world better and improve the health or the processes for the collective, especially for you if you have a defined spleen, because that'll give you natural recognition. Do it. It's very important to have sharing means no agenda. That's how you open up the flow. Your life and your business and your blessings and your miracles will be as abundant as your desire to share. So if you already know you are sitting way too much by yourself, not sharing of yourself, not speaking out into the world, not helping, not contributing, not donating your time or your wisdom or your services, you already know that you are not going to have big blessings. If money is only trickling, if health isn't well, you know you're not sharing enough. So, no agenda. I'm going to say that again and again. Okay, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Caitlin says, LOL, I need to get back to sharing again. 1-4, and I get more in my one line. Lots of rabbit holes. Don't look at the open tabs of a one line. I hear you. But that is my to-do list. My open tabs are my to-do list. What would I do? What would I do with that? If my browser crashes, I'm done. Annabelle says, hi everyone. Thank you, Ale. I'm feeling called to share some free masterclasses about our transition on 2027 since there's a lot of information in English. But what I see in the people around me is this wisdom is not spread that much in Spanish. I have a fourth line. Well, Annabelle, there you go. This is perfect. This is perfect and sounds like a fun project, right? Who else going to tell the Spanish speaking population how things are going to happen? Please do it. Beata says next week we have a little party with my capoeira mates. Oh, I've always felt called to capoeira, but then I ended up in jiu-jitsu because I like the physical touch. Capoeira is all about, but it's so athletic. Wow. I've already offered to feed them. Only the idea that I can do it gives me more energy. See, this is already the sharing channel opens. Sharing means receiving. You guys have no idea since I've been sharing more. And for those of you in the US, you probably know what's going on in the country politically, and the financial climate feels very, very tight. I've doubled my income. I mean, I do a lot of things, but a big piece of it is sharing, right? I doubled my income from September to October. I grew my income 60% from August to September. So the general climate is going down. Alex is going up. That's how I like to do things. I like to flow against the general stream. But sharing is a big piece of it, right? And that requires a lot of inner work because a lot of things your inner opponent will tell you not to do it. It will have you doubt, it will have you fear, it will have you do all the things. It will tell you it's not needed, it'll tell you it's stupid, it'll make you afraid of being judged, it'll make you afraid of being successful, it'll make you afraid of failure. It will try all the things that it can to stop you from sharing. And that's why, for me, even just coming on every Friday morning with you guys is such a win for me because I'm not letting anything come between me and sharing. It's my weekly practice too. I prepare for these calls like they're paid, because spiritually they are. They are paid because they have opened up my channels. Recognition, invitations, being seen, community. For me, that feeds me too with my four line. So you have to think bigger than just money numbers because a lot of this stuff is not, money doesn't come in directly a lot of the times, right? It's not for generators. And I will talk more about this in the coming weeks because I have a marketing mind that I'm in the process of planning. I'm always saying I'm planning something, but I have to follow my guidance. Some things I am planning and then they fall away again, but this is, this is something that I feel like is so needed. And for a generator type, money is way more directly related to the output of what they do and how they do it with a defined sacral. For projectors, money is so much more nuanced. It comes in, it might still come in through one channel of business or income or whatever, but the energetics behind it is way more complex for projectors than for generators because of the undefined sacral and the multitude of ways of how creative energy and also money can come in. So, where were we? Small desire to share equals small blessings. Large desire to share equals large blessings. Your life, your business, your blessings will be as abundant as your desire to share. So, whenever you're sharing, maybe sharing is my new favorite word. I just love saying it. Whenever you're sharing, two things happen energetically. And as a projector, you should mostly pay attention to the energetics because the physical world is only just a result of all of the energetics. So when you're sharing without agenda, when you're giving of yourself, when you're donating time, resources, wisdom, help, whatever it is, you're doing two things energetically. One is you are stirring up energy in the cosmos. It signals to the universe that you're on track, that you're ready to receive. For me, how it always goes is when I share, I stir up a lot of energy and I bring in clients, especially when I share on multiple channels. I just feel so full of energy that I can't not share. It's almost like I would, it's coming out of my pores. So I have to put it into my creativity. I have to write. I have to do something. I have to create a new offer. I have to think of marketing. I have to do this and I have to do that. If I don't do it, I'm going to explode. That's how full I am of creative energy that I need to share. When I do that, I get new clients, and then I have a little cycle of where I take in new clients, and I have to adjust my schedule and my routine and my rhythm. I have to feel like how does it feel to have all of these new clients in my world? How much time do they need on Messenger? How work in every client is a little different of how much time they take, but I only really take on clients that give me energy. So it's not that I'm getting exhausted by it. It's more like a time management thing. And also with kids and Halloween and other things happening, social things, I have to measure like how much time do I really have because I really only work 15 to 20 hours a week. So that is what I have as time available. And so during that time of onboarding new clients or starting a new program or whatever it is, or when I'm launching something and I know I need more time to launch and more daily focus to write emails and content for the launch, then I'm winding down my sharing a little bit because I need to see first like how much new capacity I have. But so that's why with my sharing, it's not so much about I have to post on social media every day or I have to send an email every day. It's more like I know when I start sharing, I'm going to get clients. So I have to sometimes take my sharing back a little bit. And that's like every every projector's wet dream, right? But it works and it happens that way. So when you're truly sharing from the right energy, from authenticity, when you're feeling so full that you can't not talk about your things, when you have a clear message, when you know what you're doing, and when you're ready for clients and you really, really want them, you're stirring up a lot of energy in the cosmos and the universe, the creator, whoever your higher self, they see, oh, She's not burned out. She's ready. She has capacity. She knows what she's doing, and she really wants this, and she can help these and those clients. And she has a great product, and she has conviction, and she has confidence. Let's send her some clients. It's not the people. It's the cosmos. It's the universe that sends you clients. And you're signaling with your sharing that your business is open, that you're open for business. And it has to be not just sharing because you saw it on a course on how to share on Instagram. You have to have the right energy behind it. And you know you have the right energy behind it that when you share, you get clients. And that's what I teach my private clients, and what we do, that's what we do, because everyone's different, and there's not a universal recipe. There's things that are overlapping for projectors, which I love to touch upon in my group containers or in these kind of formats. But then every human is very, very different. This is another thing that Karen Curry Parker shares about the chart shift of 2027, especially when it comes to money. Authentic identity and alignment with your chart, with who you truly are, that's going to get you abundance. And now is already 2027, because you're all already feeling it, that making money doesn't work like it used to. You have to be authentic. You have to know your own recipe. You have to know your individual codes for how to create abundance. If you don't, you're going to be left on the side of the road, and you're going to be wondering why things used to work and now they don't anymore. If you want to be on the ship, you have to jump on. You have to do the work. So sharing, you're stirring up positive energy in the cosmos, signaling to the universe that you're back on track and that you're open for business, whatever your business is. If it's a literal business, or if you're on a job search, or if you're on a health journey, or if you're this or that, or even on a soulmate journey, you have to stir that energy up. You have to do the sharing so that the universe knows that you're back on track. And number two, what's happening when you're sharing, and I already touched on that, is you're opening your receiving channels, as giving and receiving are the same channels. So if you're not sharing without agenda, especially, your receiving channels are clogged. Because why? Because when you're not sharing without agenda, you are in contraction thinking. You are in, how do they call it even? I try to, apparently my mind wants to delete all these limiting words from my brain. The opposite of abundance. When you're not sharing, you are in limitation thinking. And when you're in limitation thinking, your abundance channels are also in limitation. So that's the only way that you can open up your receiving channels, is by sharing. And to summarize it back up, this is the week, and tomorrow, especially on Saturday, is the energy window where we can pray, where we can ask the Creator to help us have more desire to share. Because apparently, supposedly, we're all born with a certain level of natural desire to share. For me, maybe I'm a little bit more on the selfish side, For me, I love sharing in general, but in general, if I think about, what, in my true sky, I'm a Taurus, and I just like things comfortable. So, I could share, but I could also just hop into my one line and sit on the couch and do some journaling or listening to some Kabbalah lectures, Sharing for me, yeah, I can do it. But I would say maybe 30%. So for me, that is my spiritual exercise, to share more. Because I I want to give. It's just not something that is naturally as built into me as a more self-centered person. Let's just put it that way, single child growing up, always just, thought about myself a lot first. So it's also interesting from my tropical chart to my true sky chart from a 1-3 is also the 1-3 profile is also the profile that is very much about the self, right? The 1 is about studying, but also about introspection. The 3 is all about experimentation and learning from it. So it's very much all here, And then in my true sky chart with the 4-6, I go all out, 4 communities, 6 role models. So it's a transition that for me is a personal transition, and it's been very meaningful and empowering and beautiful for me. But it's something that I had to put an intention to and a learning into and a desire and pray for, hey, help me that I get to bring this out into the world more, So, all right, I'm going to check your chat. Whatever else, what are you guys thinking? Caitlin says, so it's assumption that the abundance will come in, so no agenda is necessary. Agenda and strategy are different. So I'm curious if you're referring to that, right? When you have a business, you still need a strategy. Because without a strategy, you're just doing short-term bursts, and it's more about instant gratification. Strategy is for the long term. You want to make sure that you think long term for your own well-being and for your own deserving of long-term success and long-term income, but also for your clients, right? Long-term transformation, long-term, are you going to share yourself long term? Why is that a good thing for the world, right? So you need a long-term strategy in business. Everyone who has a business or opens a business or is serious about a business should be thinking, I want to do this for a long time. Because why else would you go through all the hassle of opening and having a business? Because business success, and I rarely say never, but I want to say never, never comes overnight. Business is one of the 3 hardest pillars of learning in life: marriage or partnership, children, and business. If you have any 3 of those, you're a hero. Don't open up a business to make a little bit of money. You're opening up a business, especially not now, close to 2027. Do that 10 years ago. You're opening up a business, or you have a business because you truly care, because something is really meaningful, because you really want to be bringing something out into the world, or it matters to you a whole ton to help people and transform lives. Otherwise, don't do it, because it's too much work. It's too much hassle. It's too much learning. It's too much pain. It's too much frustration. If you don't have that deep soul desire for a business, don't do it. Sorry. I've done this for over 7 years now in my own business. And before that, I had a startup with my ex-husband. Don't do it if you're not fully behind it with your heart. Because if you're not fully behind it with your heart, you're not going to have the creator's support behind it. And without the creator's support, you can do not very much as a projector. Don't do it. That's my word, word for the weekend. Questions, comments, concerns. I want to hear how is this? I know maybe today is a little bit more of the whippy, even though I look very harmless today, but I brought out the whip, right? So tell me, how is this landing? And then we'll close it up. If you have questions, concerns, comments, whatever is happening, I'm feeling very, very compelled to share a lot more along the lines of this. Also in my marketing, right? I just this morning on the way home from driving my son to school, I had this thing pop in, and I was like, I have to. And I scrolled on Instagram and I saw these two bro marketers and they're like broke coach and wealthy coach. And then like click here, we have the system to bring you more clients. And I'm like, for projectors, this is such bullshit. You can't use somebody else's $37 client attraction system and think that it works because as a projector, you have to use your personal magnetism and you have to align your strategies with your chart and with your authentic self so that you can be truly seen. None of this getting somebody else's strategy to attract clients. And I've three line, I've tried them all. I have downloaded dozens of $37 and $555 and 1,000 something dollars strategies and courses and messaging and marketing things that you could try. And I've learned a whole ton and I have had limited success with each one of them. I tried each one of them out and I got a little bit of something. But the only thing that has really worked for me is long-term standing power and honing down on my authentic expression and my authentic voice and allowing myself to be seen and having a strategy that fits my chart. There is no overnight success, especially not for projectors. And if it looks like overnight success, it is because that person has worked on their inner game for a long time. And maybe they have previous business experience. But if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. We're in the age of integrity. We're in the age of authenticity now. We're also in the age of AI. And that's why integrity and authenticity are something that you can't shake off anymore. And it's going to go like this. It's going to split real hard in the middle, like the Red Sea. So the rest of the population doesn't quite get that. It doesn't matter. But we are 20%, we are a fifth of the population, and we are all feeling that this is true. And we all know that there's no other way to do things anymore. And we are here to lead this revolution into well-being, into integrity, into authenticity, into creativity, into alignment and abundance through enoughness for everyone. We're here to lead that. And we're not going to do it by quickly downloading a $37 strategy off of two marketing brothers on an Instagram ad. All right. This was a big rant, wasn't it? I love my rants the most. But what matters more to me is that they're meaningful to you and that they help you feel seen, that they help you find yourself, that they help you know that you can trust your inner voice and that you know what's going on in the cosmos, what's going on in the universe energetically, and how to use these energies. So that's what I got for you today. And now I'll go play with my YouTube channel to make sure that I can share even more by optimizing my thumbnails. Questions, comments, concerns, always welcome. I love hearing what you guys have to say about this. I love having you here live. Would love to see you again next Friday. I always download around Wednesday or Thursday what I'm going to talk about. And yeah, and there we go. You are so welcome. And did I want to share anything else? So ask for an increased desire to share. Ask for honing your spiritual intuition. And know that your inner work, your personal work, lifts up the collective, but then don't sit on your sofa and keep all the light that you're revealing to yourself and go share. That's what I got. Oh, Hara said the clocks changed. Yeah, sorry. Uh, 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 um, Looking forward to the replay. You're welcome. Yes, that's right. I think our clocks are changing soon too. So next week it might be back. US people, are we changing clocks this weekend? Yes. So next week, Hara, it'll be back to what you thought it was. All right. This is always twice a year. It's always for 2 weeks. It's a little off, but then, they can't confuse us that much. All right, my loves. Thanks for being here. I love you very much. Um, Take this to your heart and see how it resonates. And